Long before the world knew her name or the history books were rewritten, she was just a young kid in Iowa. No one recognized her. Not a single person was watching. Every single day, rain or shine, she was out there handling that ball with a silent, iron-willed focus. Forget the cameras, she didn't need them. For her, basketball was a lifeline, not just some game. It was her fire, her sanctuary, and the engine driving her wildest ambitions. Plus, her energy helped her teammates feel truly unstoppable. Watch the push. She's got this incredible handle, taking the hit and still launching it high enough to drop. Even back then, Caitlin had this cool, unshakable aura like she already knew the court was hers, regardless of the stage. This is the journey of Caitlin Clark. A tale of pure grit and a dream that started on a lonely driveway and exploded into a revolution for the women's game. From those midnight practice sessions in the dark to shattering national records and winning over the entire country, her path proves exactly what happens when you combine raw obsession with total self-belief. Brent and his wife are fixtures at every game, and man, watching from those stands, it is a total nerve shredder. She entered the world on January 22nd, 2002 in Des Moines. No flashbulbs went off, no big headlines announced her. Her parents, Brent and Ann, weren't big-name pros, but athletic competition was practically in their DNA. Brent played college ball and baseball at Simpson College, doing it for the pure, unadulterated love of the sport. Ann was the family rock, the one who was always there, cheering the loudest and keeping everyone grounded. Her folks had solid, respectable careers of their own. While her dad navigated the sports industry, her mom made her mark in the marketing world. Talent was in her blood, thanks to her athlete dad. In the Clark house, sports weren't just some weekend distraction. They were the air they breathed. The television was basically glued to whatever game was playing that night. Backyard battles were constant, and dinner talk was all strategy and hustle. But Caitlin was way more than a listener. As a tiny kid, she soaked up every bit of advice and every play she witnessed. When she was around 5, Caitlin grabbed a basketball for the first time. Right then, you knew this wasn't play. That ball just belonged in her hands, and she wasn't just messing around with her dribble. She attacked every practice with a savage, relentless focus. Nobody had to nag her or force her, she just wanted to do it over and over. Guess what? They ended up winning that tournament. One of the moms actually complained that girls shouldn't be in a boys' tournament. Honestly, it still makes me laugh. I still remember her doing things in 3rd grade that were just next level. That first echoing bounce on the driveway wasn't just noise, it was the birth of a fire inside her. Low-key but lethal, Caitlin was just a small-town kid from Iowa. But deep down, an unshakable hunger was taking root, this fierce need to be more, to go further, and to eventually set the entire world ablaze. Between 2010 and 2015, while she was still an unknown, Caitlin was grinding in tiny Iowa gyms. No glossy covers for her yet. No headlines either, but the rumors about this kid's insane talent were starting to travel. Oh yeah, by 6th grade, Caitlin wasn't just competing, she was wrecking everyone. She actually dropped 60 points in a single outing. Seriously, 60 points, not for a whole month, but in one game. And it wasn't just the scoring that was wild. And we're back. If you follow high school ball in Iowa, you have definitely heard of Dallas Catholic's superstar guard, Caitlin Clark. Well, she absolutely went off against Mason City last night, dropping 60 points in the win. It was how she played her shot was just so smooth and effortless. Her poise was unreal. She saw the whole floor like a veteran, basically predicting what was going to happen next. She didn't look like a kid learning the ropes. She looked like she was genetically engineered for the hardwood. While other kids were losing themselves in video games or scrolling through social media, Caitlin was out in the freezing cold or the pouring rain, taking shot after shot for hours on end. See, she realized early that greatness doesn't come from ease. It takes obsession, falling in love with the grind, and outworking everyone. Man, she really missed a perfect chance to pull off that exact same move in a WNBA game. Word of her talent had leaked by middle school. Suddenly, high-level coaches were crowding the bleachers just to see her. In the stands, parents would lean in close and whisper, "Just watch. She's different." The hype was subtle, yet undeniably real. None of it went to her head, though. Caitlin stayed grounded, ignoring the noise and refusing to get sidetracked. She just grinded, smiled, and put in the work. Fame? That was the last thing on her mind. There was a primal drive inside her, a mission most people didn't catch. Honestly, not even Caitlin realized that this small spark was about to turn into a total wildfire. Between 2016 and 2020, Caitlin walked into Dowling Catholic with a stone-cold focus and an absolute furnace in her soul. Blending in wasn't on the menu. She wasn't some promising kid just playing along. Right from the jump, you could tell she was special. It wasn't about the scoreboard either. She simply owned the floor. We're talking logo threes and ice-cold daggers whenever the clock was winding down. Opponents threw the kitchen sink at her, nothing worked. Junior year, she was casually dropping 32 points every single night, looking like a pro among children. When things got heavy, she didn't just survive, she absolutely feasted on the pressure. The second she hit the hardwood, the whole gym felt it, that heavy silence before a lightning strike. And man, did she deliver. Old footage of 7-year-old Caitlin cooking boys twice her size proves it. She's a born bucket. Get her. If there's a rim, she'll find it, regardless of the giants in her way. Fast forward to her final high school year. She was the number 4 recruit in the country, a McDonald's All-American, with every major powerhouse in the nation begging for her signature. But she didn't take the easy, flashy route. No, she threw everyone a curveball with her decision. She stayed home. Iowa. It was the harder path, sure, but it was hers. Her reasoning? I didn't want to just join a great legacy. I wanted to build one from scratch. And she did. She wasn't just following some dream. She was building a kingdom. Right there in Iowa, 2020 hit, and the world just stopped. But while everyone else was stuck, Caitlin was low-key prepping for a takeover. Empty stands, locked doors, it didn't matter. She was grinding in a lonely Iowa gym, pushing harder than she ever had before. When fall rolled around, she officially suited up as a Hawkeye. People weren't just calling her a recruit. They saw a potential savior. Her first year, she didn't dip her toes in. She kicked the door down and blew up the entire scene. She straight up led the country in scoring, putting up 26.6 points, 7.1 assists, and 6 boards every night. Within 10 games, she'd already hung 30 points on teams 6 times. It was an offensive masterclass nobody was ready for. Logo shots looked like layups. And those passes? She was dissecting defenses like she was reading a script written 2 steps ahead. But the numbers weren't the real story. She played with this wild, infectious joy that set even the empty arenas on fire. Soon, fans weren't watching Iowa for the school name. They were there for the Caitlin Clark Show. Every tip-off was an event. The air in the building just felt electric. Even as the new kid, she wasn't just playing hoops. She was giving the fans a reason to hope again. There was no adjustment period. She was busy proving she was already the best in the game. When she came back for year 2 in 2021, the whole world had caught on. Everything was different. No longer just a hype train rookie, she had officially become the literal face of women's college ball. Cameras tracked her every single move. Every single jumper and dish was analyzed to death. Critics were everywhere, wondering, can she actually handle this much heat? Was she just a fluke? Caitlin didn't blink. She just locked in and played with that same terrifying focus. That year, she dropped 27 points, 8 assists, and 9 boards a game. Points? That was just the tip of the iceberg. She was the general on the floor, calling shots and owning every single inch of the hardwood. Every night, in front of screaming, expectant crowds, she took all that pressure and turned it into high-octane fuel for her game. Success always brings out the haters. They called her too loud, too flashy, too much. They doubted her leadership, wondering if she could actually win the big one. She didn't talk back, she just let her ball do the talking. Those logo threes? Not showboating, that was just pure, unadulterated confidence built from thousands of hours in an empty gym. Those no-look dimes were about pure trust, born from the heartbreak of getting knocked out by UConn 161 days prior. And here's the start. Caitlin Clark wasn't out there to quiet the doubters. She was proving a point to herself. Greatness wasn't a maybe. She worked for greatness right then. She wasn't meeting standards, she was busy tearing them all down. The noise got louder, but she just leveled up. Caitlin wasn't looking for attention. The stage was where she belonged. Everything shifted during that 2022 to 2023 stretch. This felt different than just playing games. It was the moment her name started becoming something legendary. Honestly, from the jump, what she was doing on the court was just plain unreal. Laser passes, logo shots, handles that made people blink, you could see it. She wasn't playing for wins, she was changing the sport. Seeing her autograph kicks for a little girl in the stands, that's just the good stuff, you know? As a parent, it hits different. By the tournament, Caitlin went nuclear on the biggest stage, the Final Four. She put on an absolute clinic. 41 points, 10 boards, and 12 assists. This wasn't just impressive, it was totally unprecedented. Caitlin became the very first player, man or woman, to drop a 40-point triple-double in tournament history. Easy bucket for Martin. Remember, it was Poa who really rattled Clark with those fouls in last year's title game. She's got the height now. Carrying Iowa on her back, she won over the country through pure gritty heart. After that day, Caitlin wasn't just another college athlete. She turned into a full-on phenomenon. Every single time she launched from the logo, everyone in the building held their breath. Witnessing history. That's what every pass felt like. Her highlights were everywhere, hitting millions of phones before the final buzzer. Beyond those insane stats, though, Caitlin lit a fire in kids. Little girls everywhere were mimicking her step back in the driveway, yelling her name like they were in the arena. That's incredible. I'll have to look that up. Thanks for sharing, really. There you have it. My God, you're stepping out into what is quite literally a massive sea of gold. Caitlin Clark is playing at a level we've never seen, and the whole world is glued to it. Hey, Caitlin, what's going on, Caitlin? Over here, Caitlin. Caitlin Clark. The name was everywhere. She didn't just get people to clap, she gave them something to believe in. She stood for power, joy, and for being yourself. She proved that being exactly who you are is where greatness lives. Fierce, loud, and totally unapologetic. With every broken record, Caitlin wasn't just a star, she was becoming an actual legend. By the time the 2023 season kicked off, Caitlin had officially transcended the game to become a cultural icon. She was evolving the sport itself. Stadiums were packed to the rafters, something we have never seen before. Tickets? Gone months in advance. Iowa's TV numbers smashed everything as millions tuned in to watch her do what she does best. This year wasn't just about those crazy logo threes. It was her senior run, the last shot, to bring that championship home to Iowa. Most people would buckle under that weight, but she just got better. February 15th, 2024, the arena was vibrating. She nailed the bucket that pushed her past Kelsey Plum as Division I's top all-time female scorer. Clark working for space, trying to find her window. The roof practically blew off the place, the cheering just never stopped. Nobody expected that record to fall so fast. Just look at this place. Unbelievable. Only Caitlin, right? But the thing is, her story had one more gear. Weeks later, she did the impossible, passing Pete Maravich to become the highest-scoring college player ever, period. That record had sat there for 50 years. People said it was untouchable. But Caitlin? She just went out and rewrote the books anyway. Caitlin Clark is now the all-time leading scorer in college history, officially passing Pistol Pete Maravich. The sports world just stopped and stared. She wasn't just the best woman, she was the best scorer to ever live. She handled it with class, too. No trash talk, no ego, just that big smile and a whole lot of heart. When the lights were the hottest and the stakes the highest, Caitlin never blinked. She just stepped up. That same kid who shot hoops in the Iowa rain day after day finally showed everyone exactly why she's different. She showed the whole world why she was built differently. It wasn't just about scoring. She sparked a fire in millions. That spark, more than any trophy or record, will always be her greatest legacy. April 15th, 2024. The entire sports world focused on one spot, the WNBA draft. The arena was buzzing. Cameras flashed as millions of fans tuned in globally, sensing this night was the start of a whole new era. With the historic first overall pick, the Indiana Fever chose Caitlin Clark. It surprised absolutely nobody. She was the most discussed athlete in the country, the icon of college ball, and a literal cultural phenomenon. With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa. But what followed the cheers and the bright lights was something nobody saw coming. Instead of a warm embrace, Caitlin walked right into a wall of ice. The WNBA didn't welcome her with open arms. Many just folded theirs. She was officially a Fever player, but the vibe was off. Some veterans weren't feeling the hype at all. They wrote her off as nothing more than a media-driven sensation. Others didn't see a new teammate, they saw a threat, a massive new force shaking up the way things had always been. Caitlin brought more than raw talent to the floor. She brought an army of millions of dedicated fans, new viewers, fresh energy, and a spotlight brighter than ever. But that kind of glare always creates a few shadows. Instead of guidance, Caitlin got resistance and cold shoulders. Instead of being cheered on, she got cheap shots and doubt. All this, and she hadn't even clocked a single minute in the league yet. But Caitlin, she didn't flinch once. No complaining, no backing down. She just tightened her laces, took the hit, and entered the WNBA without looking for a cushion. She came to fight, to prove she belonged, and to build her own kingdom. Her journey was really just getting started. It was 2024. Caitlin Clark had just made history as the top pick in the WNBA draft. The entire country was watching. Everyone knew this moment was inevitable, but the fallout, that was a total shock. Her entry into the league was anything but friendly. No hugs from the top, no help from refs, and zero veteran guidance. It was just cold shoulders and getting hammered on the court. From her very first game, it was obvious. She wasn't just a rookie, she was a target. Defenders weren't just guarding her, they were testing her breaking point. They shoved, bumped, and elbowed her night after night, game after game. The worst part? The total silence. Referees acted like they didn't even see the fouls. The league didn't say a word. The message was loud and clear. This is the welcome Caitlin was going to get. Then came the breaking point. June 18th, 2025. Fever versus Sunday, everything finally boiled over. It kicked off when JCS Sheldon fouled Caitlin hard, taking a swipe at her face right in front of the officials. They called it a flagrant one, but Caitlin stayed on the hardwood, clutching her head in obvious pain. A few minutes later, Marina Mabrey, a veteran known for being physical, blindsided Caitlin with a massive shove, a dirty, completely unnecessary hit that went way past the rules of fair play. The penalty? A simple technical. No ejection, no suspension, no actual justice at all. Fans everywhere were stunned. They'd seen enough. The mistreatment of the league's biggest star was now impossible to ignore. People reached their limit. Social media went nuclear with outrage and a wave of support for Caitlin Clark. NBA legends and analysts all asked the same thing. Why isn't the WNBA looking out for its biggest draw? Caitlin wasn't just a player. She was the reason stands were full and TV ratings were through the roof. She brought in a whole new audience and made the sport more relevant than it had ever been before. So why was she getting bullied and ignored on the hardwood? Even Heisman winner Matt Leinart had to weigh in. "This is the face of your league," he said. "She's why people are tuning in, and she's being treated like this? It's wild." No, man, I'm watching this. I just hope Halliburton has enough in the tank for us. If not, we'll see the great TJ McConnell step up. That Halliburton is such a selfish player, honestly. How can you do that? Her own coach, Stephanie White, admitted they had warned the refs early on. "We told them in the first quarter," she revealed. "They knew what was coming. Yet nobody stepped in." It's exactly what you'd expect from fierce competition, right? I started talking to the refs early because we saw this coming. You could just tell it was bound to happen. Look, they need to reel it in, step up their game, seriously. Meanwhile, Caitlin just kept her cool, totally unfazed. No whining, no getting even. She let the ball do the work, sinking deep threes and driving her squad forward like a pro. Caitlin Clark doesn't break. She hits back. Honestly, she spent her whole life making doubters look absolutely foolish. Every hard shove or dirty bump, just more gas for the tank. Since she hit the WNBA, the whole vibe has shifted. Ticket demand went through the roof, with Fever home games vanishing in minutes. Merch was flying off shelves. That number 22 jersey? It became a league bestseller, smashing every rookie record in the books. Viewership went through the roof, doubling as millions of brand new fans tuned in exclusively to watch her work. She wasn't just another athlete. She became a literal icon, not through slick ads, but by grinding it out and proving her worth every single night. Girls everywhere were rocking her jersey in classrooms, and you'd find her posters plastered all over high school gym walls. Families actually built their whole weekends around Fever games just to watch Caitlin play live. Still, even with the hype, some vets called her overrated. Talking heads on TV claimed she hadn't truly paid her dues yet. Caitlin didn't bother arguing. She just put her head down, worked twice as hard, and let her performance speak for itself. See, she knew the truth. Nobody needs to give you permission to be the absolute best. Right from the jump, she had this clear goal. She wanted to build a foundation and really give something back. Iowa City really showed her the ropes playing there, taught her what it means for a community to actually rally around others. So she made it official. In 2024, she launched the Caitlin Clark Foundation, a massive project that means everything to her. The goal is simple: support struggling kids through sports, better schooling, and solid health initiatives. It's pretty straightforward. To her, the game is way bigger than just hitting shots or stacking up wins. It's about having a real purpose, using that spotlight to actually change lives. Her foundation has funneled tons of money into schools across Iowa and elsewhere, creating real opportunities for kids who were usually overlooked. Her foundation recently joined forces with Scholastic to give away 22,000 brand new books to kids in schools that lack resources. She's constantly out there talking to kids, telling them to go after their dreams and grind just like she has. Plus, she's a huge advocate for fairness in sports, demanding that girls get the same shot as boys, no matter where. Her core message? Simple, yet deep. Real success isn't just on-court stats. It's measured by what you actually offer back to your community and the whole world. Even as a superstar, she's lifting others up alongside her. And remember, Caitlin Clark is still technically just a rookie. Just think about that. She's barely started her pro career, yet she's already the biggest name in the history of the sport. She shattered college records people thought were untouchable and completely flipped how the average fan watches basketball. And she's just getting started. I'm really proud of how I've handled everything and the positive impact I've been able to have on so many people's lives. Her time in the league is short, but her influence is huge. Nowadays, the conversation isn't just about how good she is. It's about the WNBA itself. Are they going to protect their talent? Can they actually keep up with this new audience? Will they embrace tomorrow or stay stuck in the past? Because Caitlin isn't leaving. The fans know it. The pundits saw it too. Anyone tracking her rookie run noticed the trend. This wasn't just a one-off foul or an off night. It was a clear pattern, one that felt like a cold shoulder from the league she literally put on the map. Look at the facts. She was the top pick and the one who invited millions of new fans into the arena. Despite that, it felt like the league wanted to take her down a peg rather than actually looking out for her. She paid her dues on the court, raising the game's profile without ever demanding a thank you. And her reward? Constant pushback, endless critiquing, and total disrespect. Yet, somehow, she keeps climbing. That's the magic of Caitlin Clark. She never lets the outside static drown out her real mission. She doesn't throw hands. She just hits shots. She doesn't scream back. She just plays harder. They've called her overhyped, flashy, and soft. But whenever someone tries to drag her, she just proves exactly why she belongs at the top. She isn't just playing or winning, she's leading. And look, leadership has absolutely nothing to do with being liked. It's about impact. Caitlin is literally rewriting the rules. She's changed the viewers, the conversation, and the whole culture of the sport. Away from the hardwood, Caitlin's real character is impossible to miss. She stays locked in and grounded, ignoring the messy drama and loud attention. Perfection isn't her goal. Being authentic is the only thing that matters. Finding that level of honesty is tough these days. Seriously, well done, great work. It's there when she mentions home, her folks, and those long afternoons practicing shots alone in the driveway, just imagining things. Fame wasn't the goal. She wanted the big moments, clutch shots, championships, and breaking every record in the book. Those core memories define her. Now, she's actually in them, and she's taking every single one of us along for the ride. Let's move. Nice. Hey, great catching up, man, a full 12 months have flown by. I get it, but we're finally here again. Oh, definitely. We're here for the win. Hawks on 3. 1, 2, 3. So where do we go from here? That's the real mystery. From crushing it in high school to shattering college stats, she's arrived at the big show. The WNBA is her new stage. Is the league actually ready? Can they step up in a way they've honestly never managed to do in the past? Will they truly back their biggest name? Are they going to look out for the athletes who are actually drawing the crowds? Is respect and fair play going to beat out tired politics and old grudges? This is way bigger than just one girl now. It's about the whole system, a culture that occasionally bites the hand that feeds it. Decisions must be made, either change for the better or stay stuck in the past. Everyone's looking, the fans are paying attention. Little girls are tuned in. They aren't just checking the score, they're seeing exactly how the world handles her success. They're seeing if being great is actually worth it or if success just gets you ignored. The point is obvious. The game is moving forward, and change is mandatory. No more excuses. Caitlin isn't just some elite shooter. She's the literal face of where women's hoops is headed. Her raw skill and huge fan base are completely changing how people value the sport. The spotlight is burning bright on the league. Will they actually defend their top talent, keep them safe, and welcome this new chapter? Or will they push back and blow all the hype she's built up? Look, this is about more than one person's career. This is about the soul of the sport. It's about decency, leveling the field, and actually growing up. We're writing the future of the game as we speak. Now, it's basically on us to decide how this whole thing ends up.